between them and Sky, they created a Premier League, and they stated to the world that this is the best league in the world before it was the best league in the world. It's called marketing. It's called business. It's not about fair and not fair. And now that the teams that were big in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the leagues, Serie A, La Liga, etc., when they ran the well so dry, they drank from it consistently for the past 50 years prior to the Premier League. Now they're running with their begging bowl saying, sir, please, can I have some? When those teams were at the top, they were greedy and they took it all for themselves, and now they're begging for help. I have no sympathy for any of those clubs who are in the big clubs who are in financial ruins, because you had an opportunity to help all those smaller clubs in your league and you didn't do it. And now you want the financially rich Premier League to come and help you. The Super League thing that they've brought in today is different to the one that they mashed together.
Which was a mess. It
was a joke. And I was 100% against it, because it clearly impacted on domestic leagues and domestic competition by the fact that there was no relegation for certain teams. Therefore, it becomes an exclusive club. Wherever you finish in your league, give an example this season, Chelsea and Liverpool wouldn't even care about the Premier League because they know, well, next season I'm in the Super League anyway. Where I finish. And that's the part. That's the one of the biggest parts.
They did it Jeopardy. No Jeopardy.
Exactly. This one is definitely better than the one they provided before. But my angle isn't even really because what will be. And of course, yes, the fans have some power, as we saw with the original Super League plans. But when all is said and done, the decision will be made whether the fans like it or not, and we're going to have to get on board. That's the ultimately, like most things. So my question, my statement or my position isn't really about how good is it, et cetera, because what will be in that respect. But my question is kind of, why is it coming around, how it has come around, and who I think needs it more than others. Now, of course, people will think I'm a Premier League merchant purely because I support Manchester United. You'll be right. I'm a Premier League merchant. No, listen, I respect all the leagues. I've been watching football as long as I can remember. The Premier League started in 1992. Before that, it was just English football first division. And in the 90s, where I grew up, the English football, the Premier League, was not a superpower in the world. It was big because it's England and it's football, etc. But in terms of the major team and the major league, the best players in the world were playing in Syria. Then La Liga, and even Netherlands prior to the 90s.
Well, no, that's not really
80s, 70s.
But no, to be honest, 90s Syria.
Yeah, 90s.
If you were the best, you go to Syria. No, it was Syria.
But England is, you're talking at highest fourth on the list of the best.
Oh yeah.
England. When Syria were feasting, and they had Juve, AC, Inter, and whoever else, Fiorentina, all these teams coming, Lazio. When La Liga were feasting, obviously they had Barca and Real Madrid, and they had all the best players going there. Romario, R9 went from club to club to club, never came to the Premier League once. None of these leagues, none of these clubs, none of these fans were thinking, how can we help the Premier League join us at the top table? No. At the time, when they were big, they were happy to be bigger than everyone else. Remember, English clubs were even banned from Europe leading into the 90s. Everyone was feasting without the English clubs. And the English clubs had to come and say, what can we do to bring ourselves to the table with the rest? They didn't necessarily kick up a fuss about it like that. I don't have all the newspaper articles back then. But between them and Sky, they created a Premier League, and they stated to the world that this is the best league in the world before it was the best league in the world. It's called marketing. It's called business. It's not about fair and not fair. Oh, you have all the money. It's market. They marketed themselves as the best league in the world and advertised and pushed to the point where the money is now that they can become the best league in the world, where they can get the best players, the best managers, and everyone's flocking. And now that the teams that were big in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the leagues, Syria, La Liga, etc. When they ran the well so dry, they drank from it consistently for the past 50 years prior to the Premier League. Now they're running with their begging bowl saying, sir, please, can I have some? You had your share, and when you were on top, like Barca, Real Madrid, Juve, AC, or Milan and Inter, what were you doing for the rest of the teams in your league? Barca were having 80% of the TV revenue that they generated because they're Barcelona. Real Madrid, probably even more actually, might even be 80% in the latter 2000s. Real Madrid, the same thing. Whereas in the Premier League, all the money that's generated, everybody gets a share that is equally split. Nowadays, it's about 100 million. Then you have another set that is based on your position, so meritocracy, and then based on how many times you appear on TV. So the money is equally spread to allow the competition and the teams within it to continue to thrive. Whereas when those teams were at the top, they were greedy and they took it all for themselves, and now they're begging for help. I have no sympathy for any of those clubs who are in the big clubs who are in financial ruins, because you had an opportunity to help all those smaller clubs in your league and you didn't do it. And now you want the financially rich Premier League to come and help you.
No. My thing, because I definitely want to hear Paul's point of view from this, because my stance is this, and this is what I said in the video, which is that the Premier League always promoted Premier League, and because it was about because it's England, it's about the Premier League, so everyone eats. What's coming to the Premier League? Everyone eats because we are promoting the brand.
And the benefit of that, what you just said they did, the Premier League, it wasn't always a big six. There was Man United and Arsenal, Newcastle came in, Blackburn. Then Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool. Of course, these teams were big already.
Yeah.
And then Newcastle popped in. Then Abramovich
expanding.
Spurs and Man City. Now we're talking about 6 and 7 potentially with Newcastle, because they promoted the Premier League and not self-indulgence.
No, because I think the issue with it, because again, my position is that it's true, you're right. It's like the Premier League do not have to be like, oh, let's come and help it, because for Spain and so forth, it was always about Barca, Real Madrid, and whatsoever. So it was never about, it's La Liga. We're trying to promote La Liga. Syria, we already know. What's it called? Don Corleone tax. So my thing is, that was always the issue. There was a Premier League, was the Premier League. But my thing is this: at the end of the day, Neeks, all I want is to watch FIFA. All I want to do is just watch the best teams against the best teams. That's what I say. I respect Brighton and Bournemouth, but Neeks, I'm sorry. If it's between Chelsea and Bournemouth and Barcelona against United, bruv. Shout out to Bournemouth.
So when I started playing Football Manager and Championship Manager, I always pick Man United. And then you after you play a few seasons Man United, all right, then pick Barcelona, and then so you pick all the big teams. Then there comes a point where you're like, I'm bored of this. I'm actually too good. It's too easy. All right, let me go pick a smaller team, make it a bit more difficult. Let's see if I can get a bit of a challenge. How long before Man United and Barcelona become Man United and Bournemouth? As in, it's overindulgence. The spectacle of those big games is not going to be where it is now because it's so frequent. That's my question.
No. But Neeks, how long has FIFA been going along? Whenever we go to our friend's house, we've been playing United, Barca, band thingy from goodness knows when, because you know why? These are brand names that have a history, and you have an attachment to these names. So you can never really get a board of it based on what these brand names are, because it's like, bro, how long have people been wearing Gucci for? Or Louis Vuitton? You say, oh man, I'm bored of wearing Gucci, man. Gucci's out of there.
Why don't you win the World Cup every 2 years?
That's different.
Why is it different? Well, you want the best players and the best to compete against each other.
But the World Cup is also the Champions League. The World Cup is something completely different.
No, but there's something special in the fact that it's every 4 years. There's something special in more is less sometimes. I'm not against a Super League, by the way, in this format. I'm just saying what we see, what we envisage now as Man United Barcelona, the spectacle becomes Man United Barcelona.